Hello and welcome to Hello, This is the Doom Show. I am Richard. Ladies and gentlemen, or if you're just gentlemen, go get your lady friends and come listen. I have a very special guest co-hosting this episode. This is someone I have been wanting to get on the show for a long time. And he is a very enthusiastic fan of the show, as well as a blogger and a contributor to the Fang of Joy Euro Horror and Giallo fanzine. Folks, welcome Simon to the show. Hi, Simon.
Hi, Richard, and well, thank you for the kind words and the warm welcome. It's wonderful to be here.
Oh my gosh, this is just a little dream. I made dreams come true. Yeah, I think we were talking about doing this a while ago.
Oh, I can't remember exactly. My memory isn't.
It was 1993, dude.
Oh man, yeah.
Whoops. No, the Creatures. Is it Creatures of Light and Darkness blog spot?
That's right. Yeah, it's kind of gathering a bit of dust, to be honest with you. But yeah, you know, it's in stasis, shall we say?
Well, you and Brad both have blogs that are lacking attention, so I'm going to keep poking you guys until you start updating them again.
So I always say to him, you know, great minds. Great minds
take a break?
Yeah, exactly.
So I have a series of questions I thought would be fun to throw at you, or grueling and painful. Either way, it'll make for good listening. No evil at all.
No, but you promised a bit of evil.
I did. Well, we're going to talk about Argento, and he's the devil.
Oh, boy.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so how did you get into horror movies?
Okay, well, I've kind of got a list of like a few different titles here, kind of going in order. I can kind of see like the first two of these actually on my shelf right now still, the VHSs kind of that sort of opened the floodgates, as it were. And where it kind of started, I guess, was with seeing the first two, well, yeah, I suppose it is the first two, because the third one's just come out, Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2 back in, I don't know, we had the VHS, I remember, and I remember the second one. That was probably the first, if not the first, maybe one of the first films I'd seen in the cinema. And certainly the first one to give me a nightmare. You remember, I don't know how familiar you are with the film, but frickin' Vigo, told the guy in the painting.
Nice.
Yeah, that bit of a kind of recurring nightmare from that, but it didn't put me off at all. I mean, but I wouldn't say that, you know, I mean, it's still 1989, you know, I was like 5 years old or whatever, but it kind of gave me, I suppose, an interest in sort of genre stuff, not even knowing, you know, what the terms were. And after that, probably, I don't know, my early teens, I suppose the next one, the one that really has a lot to answer for, I guess, would be Halloween and Halloween 2. Which I, again, like I say, I can see from where I'm looking right now, the VHS tape, that had them both on back-to-back. So I remember probably in the middle of an afternoon, like now, you know, really sunny outside, just, you know, sat with the curtains shut on this tiny little TV screen watching these films and just being like, oh my God, and just never kind of being the same again afterwards, I guess.
Excellent. Yeah, those are great gateway films. Halloween 1 and 2. Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Oh boy, well, I just, you know, since then, it's kind of hard now to watch one and not watch the other. I probably in more recent years watched Halloween 2 more, just maybe with being, again, you know, Halloween being on TV more and being more overexposed to that. But more often than not, I will watch them back to back because it's like one long kind of epic, really.
Brad and I have talked about this before on the show, that here in the States, Halloween 2 was the one that was on the most.
Oh yeah, I've still not seen that TV cut. I must get. Is it on the when you have it, the Scream Factory?
Yes, the TV cut is on there, yeah. And I think I watched it. I really wanted to get the that ending that I remember, because what's his face pops up in the I almost said limousine. It's a fancy limo. Pops up in the ambulance, and it's just that was the ending for me. So when I got back into horror in the early 2000s and just rewatched everything, I was really put off by the fact that he was dead.
Oh, is it Jimmy you're talking about?
Yeah,
the guy who falls on his ass on the pool of blood.
Which not a very. Was it a an ignoble end or something?
Oh, it was a bit, but I can't talk. I have great motor skills, so I could have done that.
You should have seen me in the yard today, flailing around with the lawnmower. Woo!
It's not like Brain Dead Dead Alive. It's probably
yeah.
I showed that to my friend the other day, and he said about half a dozen times, like day after, it's like I can't get over that. I do not think he knew what hit him.
I love how there's 3 cuts of that movie of Brain Dead. You've got the Dead Alive R-rated version, which is super, super, super cut. Then you have the unrated version, which is the one that Peter Jackson did.
Mm-hmm.
That's his cut. And then there's the uncut with all of it. Like really nasty stuff. It's just endless. It's such a I don't even know how to describe it. A steamroller of gore.
I think that about hits a nail on the head. Yeah.
Next question. Do you have any specific memories of the first time you were scared by a film or television show, even if it wasn't in the horror genre, just something that freaked you out?
Yes. Probably. There's a few of these, but the first one, I think, I don't know how old I must have been. I may have been about 5 or like very kind of early memory of like watching a film, but I had a babysitter who thought it would be a good idea to rent out RoboCop.
Oh boy.
And, I can understand because you kind of look at it on the face of it and you think, sort of, it's going to be a comic book types, and it sort of is, but I'll put it this way. I did not get past the bit where poor Peter Weller, he frankly gets fucking crucified by guns. It just upset me that much, and the fact that they're kind of laughing at him and everything.
Wow. Nice.
Obviously, I eventually watched it, and I love it now, but it's like, oh my God, what the hell was that? So that was probably the first, and then after that, another kind of non-horror film would be, this is not as bad, but still, I just couldn't watch this on TV for a few years. This specific bit I would have to hide my eyes was the James Bond film, License to Kill, of all things. Are you familiar with this one?
Very vaguely. I've seen it before, but not for many years.
Well, there's a bit where I think a drug dealer or something gets chucked in a decompression chamber and his head explodes. This was on like in the afternoon or something, and like it's probably, you look at the effects now, pretty laughable, but to someone who's about 5, 6, or 7, it's like fucking nightmare fuel.
That's so awesome.
Let's see what else was it. Ghostbusters 2 I've talked about, and then after that, Stephen King's It, which I don't know that first aired over here. It came out in 1990. It's probably a year or 2 after that, and this like gave me nightmares. I remember. I kind of laugh at it now because the nightmare that one night I had, and then the next night I didn't want to sleep, was, you remember in the second part where the guy, Stan, his head's in the fridge.
Yes.
In the library.
Yes.
It's kind of a funny scene when you look at it now, but like, back then it's like, I'm not fucking going to sleep tonight. I'm going to see some mustachioed dude's head in my fridge. But no, not just that. I mean, it generally, and this was kind of compounded by, I guess, only seeing parts of it, so I was trying to sneak it, up too late and all that. And and then sort of turning it off, your brain filling in the blanks of just, and I know I'm not alone here. A lot of people around here had many sleepless nights that summer, I think, when that aired.
No, they captured a lot of great and truly creepy things from the book. I'm actually curious about this remake that they're doing.
Yeah, that's been kind of going on for a while. I'm still very curious, but I'm a bit gutted that, the guy, I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not going to try, but he did the first season of True Detective. He was attached to it for a while, and then he sort of bailed on it when, he couldn't get it to go the way he wanted to and all that.
Right.
Which is, damn shit.
Well, it's always better to have a hired gun than the person who's frustrated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are some of your favorite books about horror and cult cinema?
Right, let's see. I'm probably, this is going to be the same with a lot of these questions. I feel like I'm missing stuff just looking at these. But in short, what I have here, in no order of like where I read them or whatever, I still don't have too many film books really. But first one I got here is the Psychotronic Encyclopedia of Film, or whatever the title is. I only have the first one. I know they did the video guide after, but that was great just for, again, I kind of study it every now and again, trying to, just sort of, it is a real art, isn't it? Trying to capitalize stuff, especially if you're like me and just does not understand that whole brevity as wit thing, just tends to ramble on like a mad person. So yeah, I like that one, and some of the I don't agree with, like, I mean, especially read some of their Giallo reviews, and they're like, "Oh, this is boring thriller, this is terrible," and it's just like, "Oh my god, give it a chance for God's sake." But different strokes. The next one is a Fab Press publication, I think. The guys they put out Nightmare USA, that Fulci book.
They sure did.
Yeah. Oh, I just have to stay off their website because it's just so much good looking stuff, and I do not have deep enough pockets. One I've found on the high street is one called Book of the Dead, which is about zombie films. I've not finished it, but yeah, there's highly recommended, and you will know from the ones you have, the kind of production values of their books are just like second to none for genre stuff. Yeah, pick that up again there. Then we got Teenage Wasteland, which I think, that was the slasher movie book over your side of the pond, I think.
Oh yeah, I have that.
Yeah, again, I've still not finished that. I'm just too easily distracted.
The layout. Oh, the layout of that is beautiful.
Absolutely, yeah. I don't know. I know Mr. Kurzweil, he's got a lot of memorabilia. I don't know how much of that is from his own posters and stuff, but yeah, it looks great. And sort of tying to that, I guess, by its cousin, the Giallo, another one I'm still reading, about halfway through, a little book called Giallo Meltdown.
That book sucks.
Oh man, I think I told you the other day I was in the living room reading your review of Slaughter Hotel, and my mother was in the room, and I was just like, I nearly sprayed my tea everywhere for one thing. Just like, oh.
Oh, thank you so much. That's one of those times where you laugh, and your mom's like, "What's going on?" You're like, "Well, I can't tell you what I'm laughing at."
Yeah,
because it's Slaughter Hotel, Mom.
Saying Gooch Assault, I think that was it. Yeah.
I'm telling you, dude, like, of all the films that just like set me up for failure with Jess Franco, that's one of them right there. Oh. that and Werewolf Woman, there's a lot of just thrusting vagina at the camera. I'm like, I'm already over this, Thanks, Werewolf Woman, you turned me gay.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've not even seen half of them, but I already preemptively feel like I should be, if he wasn't dead, be filing a restraining order against Franco, for some of this stuff.
I have that Psychotronic guide as well. I have not even cracked it yet. I bought it. It was not one of the ones from my youth. It's like one of the ones that I went, oh shit, I need that. So I finally picked up a copy on the cheap. Oh yeah. And I'll get around to it eventually.
It's a great one just to kind of dip into here or there, but yeah, I feel like I kind of maybe missed the boat on it a bit. Of like, been great when it, pre-internet, that would have been an absolute goldmine. But now you can't
totally
million and one blogs out there, just take it for granted, really.
Next question: what are your top 5 favorite slasher movies?
Oh boy, right. This list, like any of them, could change, in 5 minutes. Probably just looking at it could even change right now. And a lot of these are kind of almost interchangeable, really. But at the moment, I'll go in sort of reverse. Number 5, I have 2 Euro slashers. I couldn't really pick one or the other, but I've got Bloody Moon and Stage Fright.
Yes.
Just kind of for different reasons, but both just, kind of do me right every time. Number 4, you got Prom Night.
Yes.
Don't know what to say about that, really. Apart from you guys, you've... if anyone wants to hear anything on that, obviously, you covered all of them. I've not seen past 2, but love the first one. Number 3, I believe this is another favourite of yours, Slumber Party Massacre.
Oh yes, every Halloween, even though it has nothing to do with Halloween, we watch it every year.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, you kind of get into these rituals. Yeah, I don't know how you can hold off, man. I think you said once, you could just almost watch it on a loop, especially with it being so short. You're in, you're out, you're done.
I'm telling you, it has its own vibe to it that has not been captured by any of the sequels.
Oh, absolutely. And I was going to say this to you yesterday, but it was too late by the time I'd finished. I kind of gave up writing a comment, but I was watching the third one yesterday.
Yep.
Again. And I hear what you're saying about that one. It kind of turns into a bit of a downer, really, which...
No, I like the downer ending.
Yeah, no,
real.
I do in a way. If you take that for what it is, it's very interesting, and there's like pathos and
totally
kind of a degree of substance that it kind of throws you for a loop in a way. You don't really expect it, but I like that all 3 of them, they have their own distinct sort of vibe to them. It's maybe makes it my kind of favorite slasher franchise in a way. I don't know. It's
nice.
pound for pound. I don't know.
Yeah, it edges on the rapey.
Oh boy,
the killer has a more sexually sadistic bent to them, so it makes things a little weird. But I mean, I did like the movie. I saw it for the first time for the Slashers in the Night 2 Moviethon. That was I swore I'd seen it before, but I think I was mixing it up with Sorority House Massacre.
Oh, it gets so confusing, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's sequels upon sequels, and you're like, oh, those are two different franchises? I had no idea.
I don't think it helps with what is Sorority House Massacre 2 and 3. They're essentially like kind of the same film, sort of. Right, so moving on, and these next two and 1, could really be interchangeable. In fact, they should probably just say they're practically tied. Well, Halloween and Halloween 2, say the progenitor started it all. A film I didn't talk about before, like, in terms of films that made me a horror fan, but this one came a bit later, but very much equally responsible, was I have currently pegged as my number 1, is A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Excellent, yes.
Just because I don't know what's like kind of edging that one at the moment. Maybe it's just I've probably seen it less in Halloween and Halloween 2. I think it's also the obviously Halloween is kind of supernatural as well, but the whole he sort of took the slasher somewhere different with that. When it was starting to kind of down its arse a bit.
Can't talk about slashers without talking about gialli. So,
absolutely,
what are your top 5 favorites of the giallo genre?
Well, again, as with my slashes list, I just feel there's so many of these bloody films that you just feel like you're neglecting some. But I just tried to go off instinct about it. So here we are, in descending order. Number 5, I have 2 Fulci films. I've got a question mark next to the second one, so I don't know whether I like it as much as the other one, but I do really love it. So I have The New York Ripper and Murder Rock.
Nice. Very nice.
I think, New York Ripper's probably always going to edge it out for me, maybe just because it was more sort of a formative giallo for me. But Murder Rock, just... Oh, and thank you, Brad, again for sending me that. I just cannot thank him enough. It's such a treat.
There's no shortage of love for Murder Rock on this show.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. So number 4, $5 for an August Moon.
Nice, good choice.
Yeah, I love all of Barbarian, but this just I don't know. It's just. First time I watched it, I wasn't sure at all. Like maybe I'd heard mixed things, and I wasn't sure what to get into. But I just love it now. I kind of think it's even kind of underrated by Bava himself. I understand if it's like a paycheck movie or whatever, but it still seems like he was having a lot of fun. It's very playful and fun, and just kind of breezy.
It definitely shows on screen. I mean, he was called in very last minute and had a few, like a weekend or something, to do some rewrites.
Oh man.
But it's such a weird, and I guess rich film, just with his visual jokes that he put into it and all the playful nature of the whole thing. It's good stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, there are, like, say, other films of his, I feel like, no, I don't know. Just that one at the moment, there's no others of his that I get as excited to rewatch, like we were saying, so that's why it's number 4.
Nice.
Number 3, and I have 3 tied for this. They're all by... with this list, not consciously, but it's kind of gone this way. I've tried to sort of represent all of the sort of big guns of the genre, as it were. So we have 3 by Lenzi.
Yeah, I knew you were going to say Lenzi.
So the first one I wrote down, I don't know if this is my favorite. Let's say I love all of these, but it would be 7 Bloodstained Orchids.
Oh, yeah.
Which, I don't know what you said, but others have, I would agree. It's kind of just a quintessential sort of, and I think you have said this, someone asked what is a giallo, this is it, just kind of pure and condensed, really. And I don't know, I just always kind of like the vibe of it as well, a lot of like driving around and stuff, especially at night, which I don't know, always appreciate that. And the other 2 would be Eyeball.
Yes.
Of course. And I mean, oh man, especially on podcasts. I mean, what else needs to be said about Eyeball? It's got a lot of generous coverage off good self and Brad, and the Giallo, Chow Chow, and the rest of them. So I haven't really had any more. And the third one, more recently, I got a Blu-ray from, I think it's 88 Films over here. They're putting out a lot of Italian stuff at the moment, and that would be Spasmo.
I like me some Spasmo.
Oh yeah. Again, first time I watched it, kind of wasn't sure because it's an odd one, you know. It's I'm kind of not really sure what it is, but now I love it for that very reason. You know, it's very kind of unique for the genre, I think. Number 2, Torso.
Yes.
Yeah, so got I can't believe I don't have this already. Hopefully the Blu-ray is winging its way across the pond to me as we speak. I cannot freaking wait.
Cool.
You know, I like a lot of Martino's stuff, but just that one, I don't know. Just again, it's one I could watch on a loop.
Any film that has that badass drop kick in it.
Oh, holy crap. That is the kind of moment, whether you're at home or like with an audience, or even if you're home alone, you just kind of want to punch the air and just kind of fucking cheer.
Yeah.
I could have probably grew a few extra hairs on my chest just watching that moment. Oh, boy. And number 1, the one that kind of started it all for me, giallo-wise, Tenebrae.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Whew.
Especially since, like, I was, like, getting into Italian horror and all that. Like many people, you know, Suspiria was the first one I'd seen, then didn't really see a lot else for many years. I think Tenebrae was the second I'd seen, and because I was very, you know, kind of enamored of Suspiria and Inferno and the kind of psychedelic craziness and dreamlike sort of vibe of that. Watching Tenebrae, it was kind of like, for a while, like, it's like, it's good, especially like the ending that you just like, it's like being punched in the face. But it was only really when I got the Blu-ray, it was like, oh my God, this is like, just realizing how I would even, you know, I mean, I love Deep Red and everything, but if I had to pick between the two, I mean, Tenebrae edges it out for me, like, definitely subjectively, maybe even, I can't say objectively or not, you know, that's fucking impossible, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, I really can't wait to finally see that Blu-ray. It's, I've been purposefully holding off watching it for a while just to be ready for that. Because that's exactly what Brad said, that really, it opens up.
It'll be well worth the wait, yeah.
What are your 3 favorite films by Lucio Fulci?
Let's see. Oh, again, sort of echoing the last list. In third place, we have The New York Ripper and Murder Rock again. Well, I feel before getting into the 2 and 1, there's so many, and I've had this with Bava as well, there's so many honourable mentions that you could throw in here, just stuff that could equally put in third place, you know, like some deep cuts, like, say, House of Clocks, for instance. That's one I watch an awful lot, and The Black Cat, and oh God, I'm sure there's some I'm forgetting, you know what it's like.
Oh yeah, those are both great.
Number 2 is another tied one. That would be The Beyond and City of the Living Dead. I find that like impossible to call, really, between the two. just both fantastic. And number 1, this will probably not surprise you at all, but House by the Cemetery.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just you know, probably get back into it later again, but it just has it all, really. You know, it's ghosts, slashers, zombies, you know, fuck tons of weirdness. What else do you want, really, you know? Love it.
All right. Same question, Mario Bava.
So, again, here I put for number 3, $5 for an August Moon, because I'm just big on that film at the moment, but there'll be loads of others that could go there of like, I don't know. I'm not even going to start, man, because I'll just be sat here scanning my shelves for like 5 minutes or something. So we'll go with that. Number 2, this is another joint one. This one, actually, Mr. Troy Howarth recommended as a double feature. I'd never realised he's completely right. Would be Shock and The Whip in the Body.
Interesting. That's a good combo.
Yeah. They've got a kind of definitely sort of similar trajectory and kind of setup, even though the ambience, the atmosphere is like completely different. But yeah, I love them both. And number 1, one of my current holy grails. So please, home video gods, give us a fucking Blu-ray of this. My God, you know, Kill Baby Kill.
Oh, I know. What the hell?
Yeah. I believe it's we've had Scott about this, but yeah, there's some ongoing rights issues there or something.
It is such a fantastic movie. Ugh.
Oh, and did you think get into this because this could, like, you know, start a whole other conversation which we're not ready to get into yet, but when you were watching the finale of Twin Peaks, did you the last episode, did you think like any of that reminded you a little bit of Kill Baby Kill at all? I know Scott's mentioned this before, and I've sort of thought a few other people have, where you know, he's chasing after himself.
No, I didn't even think of that, but yeah, that's totally.
I do wonder. I mean, I know a lot of, you know, Kill Baby Kill, a very, very influential film, and a lot of different people, you know, from is it Fellini to like Scorsese, but yeah, I wonder if Lynch ever saw it as well.
Interesting. No, I never thought of that. That's great.
Yeah, so that's me, Barbies.
Same question again for Dario Argento.
Number 3, again, there's too many of these. They have to be tied because it really is. It's like picking between your children, isn't it? So that'd be Four Flies on Grey Velvet and Trauma.
Yeah.
Just probably edging more towards Four Flies, but I don't know. They're both like, early ones when I was getting into Italian horror that really like greased the wheels of my kind of burgeoning love for the whole genre. Number 2, that'd be Tenebrae.
Of course.
I need to see any more. And number 1, it's a 3-way tie. This is just beyond impossible to call. It would be Suspiria, Inferno, and Phenomena.
Nice.
Really depends the day of the week, but just all of them, just for... I've kind of gone full circle a bit in some ways. For a long time, it was all about Phenomena. Then I got Blue Underground's Blu-ray of Inferno. Then it was all about that for a bit. Then I'd not seen Suspiria for a while. Then that was like back on top. But really, you just got to put them all on the same pedestal, really.
Trauma gets harshed on a lot by Argento people as being this like remake of a bunch of his imagery from his earlier films, and they don't seem to like the film very much. That was one of my gateway Argento films right there. Without that, I don't know.
Exactly.
I saw that years and years and years before any of my Italian horror, flirtation. I vaguely knew who Argento was when I saw that. It was just a weird movie that I really liked a lot.
Oh, I love it. And have you seen? I think it was off an Italian DVD or a Blu-ray or something. There's like a longer cut out there. There's some bits I'd never seen, but unfortunately they didn't have subtitles. I don't think you're familiar with this at all.
Yeah, I think that I might have the wrong company here, but I think Anchor Bay restored some of those scenes.
Right.
So there's stuff in there that I had never seen before last time I watched it. But like the Phenomena, the Blu-ray you sent me.
Oh, yeah.
That has stuff in it that I was like, what is this scene? Because, that was my favorite horror film for a long time. It's since been knocked off of its pedestal by House by the Cemetery. But I was watching the Blu-ray of Phenomena you sent me, and I'm like, whoa, what is this shot? And what is this scene? Like, nothing like life-changing, but it took me for a loop.
It does, and first couple of viewings, I've watched that Blu-ray more times than I can count now, so I'm just, I know every beat of like the changing like subtitles between languages, but some bits throw you for a loop at first. Like remember the 2 German guys in the car?
Yeah.
Where they're like all talking German from it, and then like, she's trying to like squirm out the car, and then one of them all of a sudden, I can't do it, but it's like, sit still, you little shit.
Yeah.
Like he's become American all of a sudden. It's like, what the fuck?
What just happened here?
Oh, brilliant.
What is your favorite American horror film?
Well, there's a lot of answers to this. Again, I'm going off the kind of MO of like at the moment what I'm most enthused to kind of rewatch. So there will be others as well, but at the moment, for that, it would be Messiah of Evil.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like,
man.
I was saying this to Brad, but like, I just think of like, my perfect idea of like a kind of 2 a.m. in the morning sort of horror movie, and that is it. It's like, just feels like it was almost tailor-made for me. It's, I think I'll get tired of that one in a hurry.
That was one of those budget compilation finds, like.
Oh yeah, it was on the Mill Creek packs or something.
Yeah, it was kind of in the public domain for a bit, and when I saw it, I was like, I can't believe this isn't this classic that everyone remembers. And then back when Code Red gave a shit about movies, they put out a really good DVD of it. Like the Code Red release of Messiah of Evil is actually a really solid.
Oh yeah,
solid disc.
Yeah, it looks great. It's just, I think they've done a Blu-ray as well, isn't it? But it's just apparently, their stuff is like very hard to get hold of, I believe. I've never tried, but...
It's a nightmare. Code Red they have a great selection of obscure movies, and that's the only nice thing I can say about them at this point. Everything else about the company is garbage.
Let's just hope maybe someone like, so I know Arrow are doing that. Was it American Horror Project?
Yeah.
That's all. Let's hope maybe, something like that gets picked up and stuff.
Totally.
Like my ideal one for that would be something like Let's Scare Jessica to Death. And a film I've only seen once and I've been putting off watching for years because I just loved it that much was Lemora, A Child's Tale of the Supernatural, I think it's called.
I have never seen that.
Oh, that's another one, just like, great sort of late night, very strange film.
I need to give that a shot.
Definitely, yeah. So next I try not to write too many on here, but another one I'm kind of enthusiastic about at the moment is Tobe Hooper's Eaten Alive, aka Death Trap.
Yes.
Yeah, I blind bought the Blu-ray of that, and I'm glad I did. I'd seen clips of it and trailers for years. I was kind of intrigued, but
it's a weird movie.
It is, but just wonder. I say I'm glad I first seen it in HD because it has some like unbelievable kind of hellish lighting in it and stuff. Really reminds me of kind of like Italian horror, really.
Oh, very much so. Yeah, that I had I had a really shitty copy of it for a long time, and I think somebody, maybe it was Brad, somebody got me the Blu-ray.
Oh, right.
And very, very excited to crack that open and watch that soon.
Oh, you're in for a treat, man.
Hell yeah.
The rest of these are kind of, a lot of them are no-brainers, really, because it's more like formative favourites and stuff. So I'll just go through them quickly. We've got Dawn of the Dead. It's another early, in early DVD days. And yeah, I guess kind of without me knowing it was one that was sort of introducing me to Italian horror by proxy, with Goblin and Argento's involvement and all that. Then there's Phantasm, which I cannot wait for the Blu-ray of that to come out. I believe was it J.J. Abrams of all people. He's was spearheading that.
Yeah, it's getting the deluxe treatment.
Yeah. Then I've got Halloween and Halloween 2. Of course, it's a no-brainer. But next to that, anything of John Carpenter's, at his best. Probably after that, The Fog, just for kind of that spooky atmosphere. But just, all of his good stuff, really, it's kind of on that similar sort of pedestal in my mind. And last but not least, because again, this is just like a formative one, but I feel I've maybe overdone a bit, I don't know, even though I also think you kind of can't, would be The Shining.
Of course.
Yeah. Great to finally see. I've only seen it once, the longer US cut of that. It's quite considerably longer. I assume that'll be the one you're familiar with. I don't think you've ever seen the shorter European one.
I have not. I've only ever seen the American one.
Yeah, I think they're both like worth a watch. I think I noticed from the US one, there's a lot more focus on like Danny and Wendy, whereas the European one seemed like he just wanted to be more like single-mindedly about Jack, and his whole kind of descent into, is it really? Well, yeah, it is a descent into craziness, but it's like right from the off, like they say, you can kind of tell it's like, something not right here.
He's one of those actors I like to pretend that all of his movies are just him. Like, he's just, the films are just documentaries about the life of Jack Nicholson and not necessarily characters he's playing. I always find that funny.
Fantastic.
What a life he's led.
Oh, indeed. Yeah.
All right. What is your favorite Spanish horror film?
This one was quite tricky, mainly because, well, they're all tricky, but for this case, for the reason that I'm not anywhere near as familiar with Spanish horror as I am Italian. And also, I've got like 4 on my list. There are probably loads others I'm forgetting about, but I think pretty much all of these are co-productions.
Nice.
So I've got 4 in no particular order. I have Pieces.
Yeah.
Horror Express.
Very good movie.
Which equally, you could think of that. Could you think of that as like a British horror film? I'm sure you could.
It's Spanish British.
Probably maybe the same for the next one. I'm not sure. It has a Brit or a Brit citizen involved. Would be The Abandoned, which I hadn't seen for a number of years. So alarming about it being on my list, but just like every time I've watched it,
that holds up.
Oh boy, it does. Yeah. I remember. So the first time I seen that, I think I'd done it as a double bill with the Orphanage.
Good call.
Yeah, and that was just like, oh.
Goodbye, happy thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of wish someone was about to give me a hug afterward, but it wasn't to be. And last but not least, a little film called Murder Mansion.
Oh, man. Love Murder Mansion.
And that's something that kind of, in a way, sort of took on a new life when I saw widescreen version, which I think the only one I have widescreen was subtitled. Just kind of struck me a bit differently. They often do of like being a bit more, there's still some funny stuff, but being a bit more serious, like especially the ending, it's quite, like some of Bava's stuff is quite melodramatic and almost operatic, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. I've grown to appreciate the dubbed films a lot more over the years.
Oh, yeah.
I used to always prefer to watch it in whatever language it was originally intended to be, and with subtitles, then when you get to the Spanish and the Italian stuff, who knows what the language was intended to be, because they were always marketing to English-speaking countries anyway.
Oh, so with them and like kung fu movies and stuff, I can go either way for that reason. The only thing I can't really watch now dubbed as much, where I struggle a bit more, is with anime and with Japanese stuff. Like, you know, it's going through
interesting.
Neon Genesis. I mean, yeah, the dubs are solid a lot of the time, but I don't know. I just feel like something is lost, you know, because we're like that almost far removed from that culture, or, you know, that many miles away or whatever, you know. I don't know what it is. That leads us, I think, neatly into your next question, doesn't it? Sorry,
yes, it does. I love it. What is your favorite Asian horror film?
Well, this, of all questions, was very, very easy to do. Housing, no hesitation.
Yes.
Oh, God. Yeah.
What a revelation.
Really was. And, you know, like I think Mr. Scott McDonald said on Facebook last time I watched it, you know, and he's completely right. They should even print this on their Blu-ray if they put it out again. Criterion, you know, saying they did a great service to the human race putting that out in HD. That is just...
Oh, man. They would be fools not to quote Scott on
Absolutely.
That. Fools. Yeah, that was just one of those ones I kept reading about and seeing the screenshots. And I found a version of it that had no subtitles.
Oh, my God.
And honestly, like, I thought that seeing it in subtitles would help make it more understandable. I should have just said fuck it and watched it without subtitles, because by the time I finally got to watch it on cable, they played a subtitled version on Independent Film Channel, you know, when they were good. And it was amazing. It was just so amazing. But then I thought to myself, those subtitles didn't help.
No, it's like, well, it would be like not quite to this level, but, you know, like the end of the last episodes of Neon Genesis Evangelion.
Yeah.
Like a friend of mine said to me when watching, it's like, good luck keeping up with the subtitles there. And yeah, I suppose Houseu is the same for sort of different reason, but just that frenetic pace of, like, you know, you have to really be, you know, have lots of sugar or something, you know, just to kind of keep on the ball with that.
And then Evangelion too has all of the extra text, you know, like articles that they show for 2 seconds or less. Of events and there's important information, all the religious texts that they show real quick. And if you pause, you'll have 2 sets of subtitles on the screen, what the people are saying, and then you'll have this 2 or 3 paragraphs of crap of just translated stuff. So yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Oh man, love some Evangelion.
Oh boy, I think I told you, didn't I, without getting off on a tangent, but the end of Evangelion, that just, that was like, what's the phrase one used once about something else? It was like a fucking haymaker punch to the soul or something. Not necessarily in a bad way, but I thought it was absolutely brilliant, but I don't know whether I'd be in a rush to rewatch it again. It just kind of did something to me.
Nice. Yeah, you're watching a lot of emotional stuff that week.
I certainly was, yeah. I was kind of in the exactly right stroke wrong place for it all at the same time. It's kind of weird why you do these things to yourself. It's kind of a bizarre form of therapy, I think, almost.
Oh, totally.
All right. I don't want to sound racist with this next question, but what is your favorite British horror film, you damn British person?
Oh God, I've got a few listed on here. Again, this is sort of tricky. Probably missing out a lot of stuff. First up, I say these are in no particular order, but one I rewatched last night. That would be Hardware.
Nice. Very cool.
Which was another sort of, I like you, I think, had a similar, you know, you were sort of big into horror movies when you were young and then sort of fell out for a bit. And then, you know, like the prodigal son sort of came back to the, to the genre. I sort of did a slightly similar thing, and Hardware was one, you know, like coming out of uni. I remember one of my tutors sort of dropped that on us one afternoon when I was like insanely sleep deprived from, you know, just like overindulgence and staying up all night writing essays and stuff. And I was like kind of half asleep watching part of it. So it like kind of hit me more on a like subconscious level, a lot of it.
Nice. In
and out of sleep, but that was like bizarrely perfect. And it in turn sort of led me, and Richard Stanley did, to helping again, you know, get me into Italian horror, because there's some definite like riffs in that movie. And also he's very enthusiastic about it. In fact, I'll try and remember. He did a top 10 of his like Italian horror films, which I think is on the internet somewhere. Ooh. Definitely worth a read. Some interesting stuff.
I will.
Hellraiser and Hellraiser 2.
Yes.
That was another kind of formative one. Back with Clive Barker, he's someone who has a lot to answer for, I suppose, with where I am now. There was those two, and I remember Candyman as well on TV.
Great movie.
Back when I was probably in my early teens sometime, but Hellraiser 2, that's like Halloween 2, kind of impossible not to watch them back to back,
Totally.
We got next, Theatre of Blood, probably my favorite Vincent Price film.
Awesome.
And there's others starting to compete with it. Sorry, I don't know what to say.
It's just so good. No problem.
Yeah, it speaks for itself. It really does. And anyone who is out there as a Shakespeare fan who hasn't seen it, just do yourself a favor and hunt it out. You're in for an absolute treat. Next up, one I put on here, I've not watched for a long time, but I did sort of like in the early DVD days. Still sort of do. I think it's kind of underrated. I don't hear enough people talk about it. The Company of Wolves.
Wow, very odd. Yep. Very odd.
It is.
Film.
It is. Yeah, I kind of like it though. Again, especially from a kind of atmosphere sort of point of view. Maybe it's the vintage as well. I think that was 1984. I think, which would be my birth year. I think you started this, of your 1976.
Yep.
Moviethon. Just thought, that's a good idea, and now it's like, just determined to watch every film from that year eventually. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Whatever year you were born, you find the weirdest stuff because you kind of turn off a filter of, I'm not really interested in that. You're like, but I have to watch it, So you end up seeing some cool stuff, and that is certainly, if that could explain why you're so strange, then blame the movie. just hey, that came out when I was born. Not my fault.
Absolutely. Oh, well, some stuff in 1984. I have sort of plenty of excuses, thankfully. And last up, I had to chuck a Hammer film on it. And I want to say, I've only seen this once. It's tricky to say it's my favorite, but when I watched it, it kind of blew me away. It was The Satanic Rites of Dracula.
Nice. Very nice.
I can't necessarily say it's my favorite. I've only seen it once. There's a lot of other stuff of like, I don't know, Captain Cronus Vampire Hunter, Quatermass in the Pit. I don't know. There's probably a ton I'm forgetting, but just that one, I just kind of really just kind of blew me away, and just very excited to watch it again already. And it's probably not been a month or something.
See, that's one I have trouble remembering if I've seen or not. I don't know why. I think Brad speaks highly of it as well.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I am so dumb with Hammer stuff, I cannot recall if I've watched it. I remember the titles because I was trying to find a good copy to download. So I think maybe in my scouring for a good copy of it, I misremember seeing it. But so basically, it'll be like seeing it for the first time again when I finally do sit down to watch it.
Yeah. Oh, in that case, I'll say no more about it. It's I'm kind of glad I went in cold. I did not what I was getting in for, and great stuff. I did that sort of as a double bill, I think, with Dracula AD 1972. Which I'd never seen either, and both those were just fantastic. Maybe enjoyed that one more, but just, let's say, Satanic Rites, something about that one just like really more impressed me for whatever reason. I think I'll do for British horror. There probably is other stuff like one I nearly wrote down. I believe you're quite a big fan of. Was The Creeping Flesh.
Oh yeah.
It's again one I've only seen more in more recent times, but I find myself wanting to rewatch a lot.
That one got me really young. I was really young when I saw that. That's amazing.
Oh yeah, no, I'm jealous. I didn't get to see it. See it at a more kind of formative age.
All right. Speaking of formative things, what is your favorite horror film of all time? That was my echo.
Well, this one is the kind of impossible question, really, and it goes without saying. It really depends what day of the week and the rest of it. But I'd say it's either any of my favorite Argentos I mentioned before, or House by the Cemetery, or more recently, last time I watched Houseu, I just felt so just insanely kind of happy at the end of that film. It's like, nice. Oh my God, this might be my new favorite. It's just really, amazing stuff. Yeah, there's probably other ones as well. I don't know, but a lot of the time it does depend what you watch most recently, doesn't it? And what just ever kind of really got you going, as it were.
Your brain kind of reevaluates when you're watching stuff, and you're like, "How is this not my favorite film of all time?"
Yeah.
Off topic. I watched for the first time in many, many years, Escape from New York.
Oh, right.
And that was one that I know my wife likes a lot, so I went to go get it, and I ordered it, and Amazon, after 2 weeks, said, yeah, we're going to ship it soon. I said, all right. I canceled it. And Brad then magically sent me a copy of it. Watched it for the first time in many years last night. I was just sitting there like, okay, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that you saw as a kid that just shaped your tastes in movies and everything. And it's so good. I'm so glad that holds up.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing I like about it, same with Assault on Precinct 13, it's like even some of Carpenter's like non-horror movies, those two especially, it's like they have that similar vibe still, of like, there's a lot of creepy motherfuckers like crawling the streets and, it's better watch your back.
Totally. Yeah, there's a lot of creepitude in there. All right. So one of the questions I thought of as we were counting down to recording this, what is it like living in the post-video nasty era, and how has the banning of films in the UK affected your film collecting?
That's a very good question. The first part, just now I'm thinking it's like just sitting back and thinking about it, and seeing these documentaries, just hearing all the history, you kind of have a hard time believing that really happened, and it's not like wasn't satire. If you know what I mean, right. It's like it just seems so fucking bizarre. The same as a lot of these moral panics of like maybe horror comics in the 50s and heavy metal albums in the 80s and so on and so forth. But just bizarre looking back at it that could happen, but also knowing, there was moral crusaders talking about internet pornography here, and just being aware that it was a kind of lesson in a way of you've got to be wary, because these things can, especially when politicians want to kind of play the old misdirection game, they'll wheel another one of those out potentially. So it's just surreal, really. Also knowing say if you want to really in their words, I've got this down here actually. What was this DVD? There's two of them, so just bear with me. Video Nasties, the definitive guide. It's in 2 parts. I think Severin has put out the first part of Your Side of the Pond. The first part covers more. There's 3 different lists of what they call the Director of Public Prosecutions, and a couple of different lists. There was one where people get prosecuted, there was another one where I can't remember now, where it was more advisory, and then a third one that was similar to that. But well worth a look if you want to know about that whole this strange era of our kind of social history. Especially the worst bit, I think, and I told you before, it's a friend of mine who I know this had actually happened to. Seen a clip on this documentary, seen this poor guy who's getting ready for work one morning, the coppers come in and want to raid your tapes and all that, and let's say I know a guy this happened to, because they go to be trading stuff about, and unfortunately someone else must have got raided, his name was on the list, and they came to him and all that, and kind of really put the back burner under him to kind of, and I think he probably ended up under some duress, ended up probably naming a few names himself, and feeling a bit guilty about that. Yeah. It's frightening to think, people going to Amsterdam and stuff to get presumably Fulci movies and the like, and sometimes taking the actual tape out of the VHS and swapping it over into something else, apparently, just to get it through customs, like you were trying to smuggle weed back or something. It's just beggars belief. But in terms of so I just find it all very strange and kind of a little bit kind of disconcerting. But in terms of how it's affected me, not overly. Apart from, as I've said to you before, still not been able to get a uncut version of New York Ripper over here. I find very strange, considering you can get Cannibal Holocaust with all sorts of animal cruelty still on show. But, a bit of blood on breasts, that all of a sudden, oh no, we can't go there. We can't have that in the, no razor blades near boobies. We're British, it's, what the fuck. And the most bizarre thing about that is this second Video Nasties documentary is you can see that clip that's banned in that documentary. It got passed in there, but you can't see it in the movie. So what the fuck? I think maybe now if Shameless as someone resubmitted it to the BBFC, it would probably get passed now. It's been a few years.
Yeah,
it's really. Yeah. So it's not too bad, but oh boy, it's just very, very strange, isn't it?
I think the banning of those movies created a whole subculture,
absolutely,
that wouldn't have really been there before. It's just some of these movies that are remembered because of that list, are so terrible.
Oh, yeah.
And so unbelievably boring. You know, it's, you know, some films, there's some real gems hidden in there. I'm not going to go through a list of titles off the top of my head because I'll probably name a few that weren't banned.
Speaking of ones that weren't banned, like, although, you know, they disappeared for a number of years for whatever reasons, weren't officially on those lists. Stuff like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which you would think would be the poster child, like Video Nasty, but no, apparently not. It's... Then you have stuff which you just look at it and go, what the fuck's that doing on there? Like, I'm sure something relatively innocuous, like maybe Bloody Birthday, or maybe they were worried about, oh, kids, you know, imitative violence and all that. That was a big phrase that got bandied around.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just very inconsistent. Oh, the poor police, you know, just because they were like, had no idea what they were doing sometimes, were just like grabbing anything pretty much. Like, I don't know whether you know, they grabbed, are you familiar with a Samuel Fuller war movie at all called The Big Red One?
Yes.
Yeah, that got picked up a few times, I think. That probably.
I heard about that in the documentary.
Oh. It's like you can't make it up almost, but I understand.
All right, our last two questions for you here. First one, what is your favorite non-horror film genre?
Oh, again, I'm sorry, with all of these, I can't just pick one. It's impossible, but
yeah.
I've picked like three different sort of genres, I guess. Broadly speaking, comedy, science fiction, and then teen movies as well, I'd say. I believe that's a sort of subgenre fairly close to your heart as well, isn't it, I think?
Very close. Disturbingly close.
Yeah, why not? There's nothing wrong with that at all. I think that's good.
What is your favorite non-horror film of all time?
Well, I did used to have a kind of stock response for this, like one film, but now it just seems like, what? Really? No. Which was Blade Runner. Which, like, you know.
Nice.
But it just seems to, like, almost like putting Citizen Kane or something on the top of your list. I mean, I'm not saying it's like greatest or anything, and it is, you know, one of my favorite films, but it's not like I couldn't just single it down to that one. So equally within that genre, you know, the aforementioned RoboCop, you know, kinder trauma aside, all that, I still freaking love it.
Yeah, me too.
That was a film I was half thinking I might revisit today, actually, as I often do, because I just never know what to watch sometimes. I just
rewatched RoboCop like not even 2 weeks ago. Oh man, it's amazing.
Absolutely, yeah. And not one, but two, but three people from Twin Peaks in that, I believe, isn't there?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah. Oh boy. And relate to that, one I rewatched last week, I think. Total Recall.
Nice. God, I haven't seen that in forever.
Oh, I think probably that. What did my friend call them? That RoboCop, Total Recall, and Starship Troopers. Oh, that was it. The Holy Trilogy or the Holy Trinity or something. I can't remember. I just thought that was brilliant.
That's good call. Yeah, it's funny. Like there's two sides to Starship Troopers. There's the side where it's being ironic on purpose, where it's making all these statements about society and being smart. And then there's the fact that it's also stupid.
Yeah.
It's also made by one of those directors who can also be really stupid.
Oh, yeah. Like, I mean, I've not seen it for a long time, and amongst my current 90s kick, very tempted to rewatch Showgirls because it's been a long, long time, but I'm trepidatious about it, to be honest.
Oh man, one of the legendary bad, cringe-inducing movies.
So I'm sure he got like a boatload of Razzies for that with the Verhoeven. He seems like a good sport. I think he showed up and collected his actually.
Well, why not? I mean, well, it's great. There's the deluxe edition that I think came with shot glasses and poker chips. Like. Who is your audience? This is amazing. What?
Fantastic. I want that. So, yeah. And the last one I've got in the sci-fi vein would be Trancers.
Okay. What the hell? I need to watch that.
Yeah.
I have not seen that. And that was one of those movies I loved as a kid. Trancers and Nemesis.
Nemesis, yeah. I tell you, you seen on Facebook, I watched that for the first time the other day.
You know, that's not available here.
Really?
Yeah. If you want Nemesis, I believe you have to get the UK DVD.
Right. Okay.
Which is bullshit.
It is, totally. But yeah, that was very interesting. Some crazy, crazy action in that. I want to see some more films from that guy. Like I know Tim Thomas and Jack Death of Trancers, he was in that, and the guy directed it. They worked together again in Dollman, is it? Which I have never seen, but I have
not seen those either.
Very intrigued.
Very intimidated by You're going to say interested. I was going to say intimidated.
I hear you. I mean, that whole, like, was it Full Moon or Empire or whatever?
Yeah.
There's a lot of, all the ones I've seen, especially of a certain vintage, have been pretty good fun.
If you get a chance to see this, I think it would make a great triple feature with Trancers and Nemesis. Have you ever seen the live action version, a Hong Kong movie called Wicked City?
No, I knew you were going to say that, but No, I've not seen the live action one. I've seen the animated one once, I think. I was trying to...
Yeah, the animated one is a completely different beast, specifically a multi-tentacled beast. The Hong Kong version of Wicked City is apeshit crazy. I highly recommend it to anybody who likes just weird Hong Kong movies at all.
Oh, salsa! Hong Kong is like an area I am really barely dip my toes in the water.
It's kind of a film you watch with the subtitles, like in its I think it might be Cantonese, and you watch it subtitled, and then flip it over to the English dub because it makes it even funnier. Like, what the fuck?
Oh, I'm definitely picking that up. Yeah, no, cheers for the recommendation.
I love making people watch stuff.
Oh, that's it. Passing the torch, as it were, is the way I see it. It's,
at gunpoint. Well, because I'm American. Guns.
Well, it's you're right or something. I think, or I don't know. So that was sci-fi anyway, and for comedy, I guess. Oh, there's too many, but just briefly, just kind of going chronologically. I love films of Buster Keaton, especially one called Sherlock Jr., which I think is one of just the best films ever made. And the Marx Brothers, just again, especially if I'm ever feeling kind of down in the dumps, that's a sort of, kind of visual Prozac sort of thing, Then someone, I've not seen any of his films in a while, but I do, I know a good friend Brad, he loves the films of Jacques Tati as well. I've not watched any in a good while. I'm getting ready to revisit, I think. And going on a bit, these probably in terms of comedy maybe are, I was pushed to say some of my all-time favourites would be anything that Carl Reiner and Steve Martin did together, from The Jerk through to All of Me. Just all of them fantastic. I think maybe my favourite at the moment, I don't know why. I'm not going to say it's the best, but would be Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid.
That is such a weird movie.
It is. And it's like, I mean, in some ways, it's kind of dependent on having seen all these 40s and whatever noir films, but I don't know. I think it still sort of works without like having to know them. I don't know. Maybe I've just seen it that many times now. Then Mel Brooks, all his movies are great, but specifically one I don't hear much about would be Silent Movie.
Oh man, yeah, that was one I watched with my parents
a
few times. That was a great movie.
Fantastic, yeah. And last but not least, and again, this would be, if I was pushed to say, favourite comedy, this would be very close. The top slot would be Top Secret.
Oh yeah. That song, Skeet Surfin', is in our mix in the car all the time. Lietta, I remember that film as a kid, and Lietta was very insistent we get that DVD, and we've watched it a lot together. That's a great movie. It
is just endlessly rewatchable. I mean, I love Airplane and everything, but I don't know. That just has a slight edge for me, and I do think it's kind of underrated by comparison. So that's it for comedy. And what to say, teen movies as well. Anything from the 80s or 90s, really. I mean, John Hughes stuff, obviously. Like, especially Weird Science, that's, for whatever reason, seems to be my favourite of his.
Good stuff.
90s especially, I think. Maybe because it's where my head's at the moment. I've been watching nothing but 90s movies for, like, however long now. But even stuff I rewatched very recently, like last night. Like, was it Don't Tell Mum the Babysitter's Dead?
Nice.
And I was amazed rewatching that. It's like, wow, this is like so much better than I remember. I was just expecting it to be kind of very slight. It's like it's by the numbers or whatever, but just very well done. And some people I was forgetting about in there. Like, again, sorry, there's too many getting ahead here. But like more Twin Peaks connections that I'd forgot about. Not just David Duchovny, but what's her face? Kimmy Robertson, plays Lucy, the receptionist.
Right.
Yeah, she was in that. And Danielle Harris, that was the one I really kind of face palmed. It's like, holy crap, I forgot she was in it. Yeah, she was in all sorts around that time, like the Last Boy Scout with Bruce Willis, and yeah.
Oh shit, that's right.
Yeah, being really, really sweary, which is
that's just her natural state.
Oh yeah, I think that's it. Again, I feel like I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff, but that's it off the top of my head anyway.
Man, that's a good list. Love it.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Was that all the genres?
Yeah, I think so. Really depends on my mood. I like all sorts of things. I mean, action movies as well. I couldn't think with it. Like, I don't know, John Woo movie, Hard Boiled.
I love Hard Boiled.
Oh, it's just insane. You've got to figure at least maybe 1 or 2 stuntmen must have died making that. It's just,
Probably.
Oh, no doubt.
I just watched A Better Tomorrow 2 for the first time.
Oh, I've not seen that one.
That's good. It's where a good old friend of the show, Tyler, got the name for his podcast.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Apologize to the podcast.
Excellent.
That scene is, it's really good in English and in the original Cantonese because he's speaking really broken English.
Yeah.
In the scene, and then when it's dubbed, it makes a little more sense. When you're watching the Cantonese, it's just that much crazier.
Oh, sorry, before I forget, there was one, it's an action movie, kind of recent favourite, something I could watch any bloody time would be Miami Connection.
I have not seen that. I've heard good things.
Oh, yeah, no, that kind of surprises me, especially for the kind of geographical thing, but
yeah.
Oh, my friend, you are in for an absolute treat. I think the story goes, what was it, someone found the print on eBay for like nothing and then put it out, but oh my god, again, what a gift to humanity that they did. It's just...
I will check that out.
Yeah, I think you'll love it, man.
One of your new favorites is going to be something Knopf and I talk about, the No Retreat, No Surrender 3 Blood Brothers.
Oh, right, okay.
Filmed right here in Tampa Bay.
Oh,
it's amazingly bad. Amazing. Like,
I'll have to hunt that out.
It'll blow your mind a little bit because it was filmed as if not connected, of course, to the series. It was just a movie called Blood Brothers, and they threw the No Retreat, No Surrender tag on it so they could sell it to somebody.
Right.
And it's crazy. We talk about it, and we loved it. So
fantastic. I look forward to that.
Well, sir, thank you for being subjected to these questions.
Oh, you're welcome.
Folks at home, check out Simon's blog. Demand that he starts updating it again.
Absolutely.
And then we'll work on Brad. We'll get him to update his blog some more. And this will not be the last you hear from Simon. I don't want to spoil it. We've been talking a little bit about it in the periphery of this episode. We are going to talk about something that is started on the small screen and ended up on the big screen. And strangely enough, will be coming back to the small screen. So
I can't wait. Not just for that, but for the discussion and
it's gonna be good times.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having us on the show.
Of course, this has been too long in the making, but we did it.
Indeed.
Awesome. Thanks for listening, folks. Bye.
Bye.
Hello, This is the Doomed Show is available at hellodoomshow.podomatic.com. For the old episodes, check out the archives at doomedmoviethon.com. To contact the show, email us at doomedmoviethon@gmail.com or at doomedmoviethon on Twitter. For more Doomed Moviethon goodness, also visit cinemasomnambulist.com.
Did you ever see a film at such a young age it left you traumatized with cinematic wounds? Necrophilia. It's a dead issue, man. Don't push it. Cinema Psyops is a weekly podcast documenting an ongoing experiment on the mind of an unwilling test subject.
No one should have to watch this movie.
Oh, no one should have to watch this?
No one should have to watch this movie.
Surprisingly, it's not a topic that a lot of people really want to tackle.
I'm shocked, prudes.
I know, really.
Right?
It's the next sexual frontier that no one wants to explore.
I am, in the most sincerest of senses, disappointed in you.
It takes a powerful goddess like Connie, jam her arm down the monster's throat and kill it. I'm still tripping out over that. Even as a kid, I was like, I gotta find a girl like that. Every week, I get a new look of disappointment that I never thought I could get out of.
Unimaginable. At 12 years old, you should not be watching this movie.
Obviously.
At 13, you should not be. 14, you shouldn't be. I'm not entirely sure even 17-year-olds should be watching this movie.
Just because you're offended by something doesn't mean that you have the right to demand that it doesn't exist. watching this film again, I had all of this like little nerd glee with everything that kept
little
popping
history doll
up.
popping up
Absolutely.
at you.
So I totally loved this film.
Hey, I know why you couldn't see that. It's because your brain's warped watching this shit at 12 years old.
Yeah, this is a rough movie. I told you ahead of time when we were getting ready to do it that it was.
How
be a
did you
rough
watch
one.
this shit at 12?
Because physical wounds heal, cinematic ones don't. Listen to Cinema Psyops. 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 Psyops.